Hi everyone, welcome to the SuperClash SpookyCast, a podcast where we take a deep dive into the horror stories of Reddit and discuss the things that truly go bump in the night. My name is Trey, and I will be your guide through the strange and unexplainable this evening. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Trey, and today I am joined once again by my co-host Connor.
Howdy.
A man of a few words. It's been a while. It's been almost a year since we did our last episode. Life's been busy, but we're back at it again with a new episode of SpookyCast. I will be kicking off tonight's story. Tonight's story comes from the subreddit BackwoodsCreepy and is by user Localchickentender. Love that fucking name. It's great. Alright, this story is called Men in White Almost Took Me and My Little Brother. I've always been super creeped out by this experience, and I've thought a long time about posting it, but it wasn't until I told one of my friends this story that they pointed out this might be a Men in Black type of story. Anyways, here we go. Forgive my grammar errors. It was my middle brother's 10th birthday party, so this was 2006, and the woods I grew up as my backyard was Seneca Creek Park, which is also where Blair Witch supposedly took place. My brother's birthday party was a pirate-themed party, LOL, and I guess my mom had given us chocolate coins for treasure. I don't really remember why, but all the boys at the party, myself, and my mom, walked through the woods before having cake. My youngest brother, Jesse, 6 at the time, told me when we got back to the house he left his coins by the bridge in the woods. That part of the woods was where a fork came in the path. Left was the bridge leading to a walking trail, and right was deeper on the path headed near the creek. So I decided I would go and find his coins, and told him to come with me. Oddly enough, my mom warned us not to go, but we still did, and she let us. The bridge was about a 5-minute walk from the bottom of our hill. That was our backyard. We walked into the woods and everything was normal, just like it was when we were just there with the group. We finally made it to the bridge, and I found Jesse's coins right away. I was bent down, and Jesse was behind me, and I look up while grabbing the coin, and there's a man in all white with a white brim hat. I thought it was a cowboy hat, and then a man behind him wearing all white too, but no hat. They appeared out of nowhere, and I started backing up right away when I saw the first man, because I felt pure fear. He saw me scared and backing off, and he said, "I don't bite." That's when I told Jesse to run, and I was screaming, "Run," and we ran home. I didn't even check to see if they were following us, but we ran all the way out of the woods and up the hill screaming because the group, plus my mom, were on the back deck. And I knew if the men knew people were listening for us, maybe they wouldn't chase us. We told the boys and my mom what happened, and my mom said, "See, I told you so." And that was it. It was so scary, and they truly came out of nowhere, just appeared. My brother remembers this as vividly as I do. Has anyone ever encountered men in all white in the woods? I never really knew what this all meant, but it was so creepy, and this is probably the best place to try and figure it out. Thanks for reading this far. I'll try to answer any questions. That's the end of the story.
My first question is, when they say men dressed in all white, are we talking like a white suit or just white clothes? I wish there was a little bit more of a description there.
Yeah, who knows?
Klansmen out there? Like, I'm trying to figure this out here.
I mean, I think if it was a Klansman, they would have said like it was a fucking Klansman.
I don't know, man. I'm not giving enough clues.
Well, I mean, they don't wear cowboy hats. Last I checked. I mean, shit, all right. Let's stop talking about the fucking Klan and move on. Jesus Christ. One of the comments on here says, "Your mom knows something and she's keeping quiet about it. Ask her." To which he responded, "I just texted my mom asking why she told us not to go into the woods. She usually responds fast, so let's see. I wonder if she'll remember this." Mom said this is my long text asking why she said don't go out. I'm not sure why I said that to you all. It might have been intuition. Well, that is anticlimactic. How
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I mean, there's nothing really much about it that screams supernatural or anything like
Yeah,
that.
like I could kind of see where they'd be like, oh, this is like a Men in Black type situation, but not really. Like, it's probably just some dudes walking through the woods. Don't know
They
why
could
they're
have
all
been
dressed up in like matching outfits. But you never know.
they could have been up to nefarious things, of course, sure, but it sounds like regular people possibly. I'm
Right.
not sure why.
I don't love how the dude says I don't bite.
That's
Like,
what
you
somebody
say that
who
to me and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm
that
leaving.
makes me distrust you more when you say
Right,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Also on here it says this is the area where the Blair Witch supposedly took place. Isn't the Blair Witch like a complete like fabrication, like a fictional thing that happened? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing real that happened there, so but I don't know if they're saying like that's where the movie was shot or the story is supposed to take place. I don't know. But also, like, shame on the mom for letting them fucking go back into the woods alone.
Yeah, it sounds like they were fairly young if one was 10 and one was 6, right?
uh,
And
yes, no,
OP necessarily wasn't that age, but he said his middle brother was 10 and his youngest brother was 6.
right.
So, I mean,
But then the fact that she goes, "See, I told you so," after they told her the story,
yeah.
I'm just like, well, your kids could have got kidnapped, and your response would have been, "I told you so."
Yeah, that's some questionable parenting. Did they
Parent of the year.
I have to look back at that story real quick, but this was in their backyard, the woods
So
behind their
yeah, the woods
backyard.
behind their backyard.
That seems extra suspect. Like, why would you live at a place where you are distrustful of like the woods behind your house? Like, your
I
kids could
mean,
be out
I'm
in the
not.
backyard just
I don't.
playing,
I
you
don't
know?
think she's saying she was distrustful of it.
Hmm.
I mean, fuck. Like when we lived in the old neighborhood, my house backed up into like a fucking ranch that was just empty, just land for
But
miles.
there was a fence there. Like, you couldn't.
I could do so fucking barbed wire fence. You could jump it.
I'd like to have seen you try.
I mean, pretty sure I did. Hopefully nobody comes after me for trespassing.
Something,
Because
something
like
statute of
we before we
limitations.
put that privacy fence up there, like there was it's just the backyard just backed up to it. Like we used to have horses that
Mm,
would come up and we'd pet the horses and shit like that.
mm.
Um,
That's
but
a little
yeah,
less weird than the woods behind your house, though, too.
well, I don't know. That whole area was kind of like wooded though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You remember that day we heard that like it wasn't a coyote, but like something fucking growled, and
yeah.
like we all took off back to your place.
I'm pretty sure that was likely a bull.
Yeah, it's true. It probably could have been. Who
Uh,
knows?
but that's just the
It was a
shenanigans that we got
Sasquatch,
into.
okay? There was a
We,
Sasquatch living in the woods behind our
I'm pretty sure one of us was like,
subdivision.
"Is that a Sasquatch?"
You probably.
Yeah,
Oh man, such a long time ago. All right, you want to just jump right into the next story?
sure thing,
You want to do
man.
it? We'll just keep
Yeah.
this train a rolling.
All right. The next story we have tonight is from the subreddit r paranormal and comes from the user Artemis273. The title of this story is Dog Sitting at a Historic Mansion Over Several Years. There's something wrong with it. I'm not going to preface this post with, I know this sounds crazy, because it isn't. This is a regular experience I have had over several years of dog sitting gigs at a turn of the 20th century mansion in my neighborhood. A friend of mine will also dog sit at the house if there are dates I'm unavailable, and she shares this experience and often feels like she needs to pretend she's somewhere else in order to get through it. I met a really nice family through a friend who were looking for a dog sitter for their puppy back in the fall of 2020. I started doing a long weekend every few months, and then the owner asked me to help her out for a spring break slash summer trip that they couldn't include their dog on. The house is absolutely beautiful and is a precious landmark home in our historic neighborhood. It's big without feeling imposing, and you can tell that the owner loves taking care of it. She decorates to make every nook and sitting area comfortable and inviting, and there are beautiful family photos all over the walls. In short, it's a catalog home, and most importantly, the dog is a very good boy. I often feel quite guilty when she and I interact because, as beautiful and welcoming as her home looks, it makes me feel absolutely awful. Whenever I stay there, I feel completely exsanguinated, which, to define that, that means like the blood has flown out of you or been drained from you. I have a hard time moving. I feel listless, deeply sad, and strangely scared to leave the house. Usually, the longer I stay there, the more agoraphobic I feel. When I do muster a ton of effort to go out to buy groceries or run an errand, I feel like I'm not alone, like as if something has followed me, and I dread returning to the house. I am an active person who usually wakes up bright eyed and bushy tailed, so it's unusual for me to feel so heavy and unable to do things. I have also heard footsteps around the house and often wake up sweaty and terrified in the night, no apparent cause. I saw my boyfriend briefly yesterday, and he commented on noticing a big difference in me compared to 2 days prior before I went to the house. I didn't really know what to say to describe how I felt and how I was acting, and he was worried. He was so worried he thought in a matter of 2 days I had decided I wanted to break up. We have been in that disgusting phase of love. Today was my last day in the house after 3 days, and after yesterday, I knew I had to fight this energy demon, for a lack of better words, and go for a walk at the park. It was spectacular, and I was out for about 3 hours. With each step, I felt more of the energy evaporate off my body, even off my sweater. When I returned to the house to pack up my things, play with the doggo, and let him out one last time, I felt like the energy returned full force. The words I would use to describe that feeling was like it was a spiritual assault. I tidied up the house and gathered all my bags, but the whole time it felt like some energy or spirit was arguing with me not to leave and following me each step I took, even in and out of the bathroom. As is usual for my stays in the house, the energy completely vanishes the second I finish the dog sitting gig and step out of the house for the last time of that gig. I've been saying no to this very nice dog owner more and more over the last year, and my friend who needs extra money has been helping out. I warned my friends that this house is a very strange vibe, and her first time over there, she texted me very early on that she felt super off, and we've compared experiences over time. Another friend of mine hung out with me there when I was really lonely and depressed because of the house, and she very quickly became off too. I know this sounds like The Shining, but the best way I can describe this feeling is that the house or something inside of it wants to slowly drain me until I completely melt into it and become part of the house. I know it sounds like psychosis, but I can feel something battling with me every time I try to leave, and something draining my battery every time I give up and stay. I have considered the unusual, or I've considered the usual environmental suggestions like mold and gas leaks, as it is an older home. But just before I started sitting there, they did a full renovation, including inspections, and the family seems very nice and happy for my interactions. The only slightly off thing I noticed is that the owner, though very kind, is very paranoid and anxious. She often mentions how desperately she needs to get away when she asks me to dog sit. But hell, who isn't anxious these days? The house is just a standing paradox. It looks like an all American home. It's bright, full of light, and checks the boxes of every HGTV lover's wish list. But I absolutely, deeply dread it. There's something wrong with it.
It sounds like have you ever heard of like emotional vampires?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like something like that. Um, but who knows? Who knows? Creepy house. Maybe the house is a vampire, sucking the life out of you.
Yeah, the poster mentioned like, oh, they did all sort of environmental checks and it's fine. But I kind of think that it has to be like something normal going on with the house. Like I have to think that it's like, oh, maybe there's some sort of gas leak or a buildup of some sort of chemical like carbon monoxide, or just the HVAC system is like really bad. And some of the things that I've seen in the post down below is like a logical explanation is carbon monoxide, there's something in the vents, HVAC system, or a lack of insulation that has built up mold. Or I heard one of the other options, or saw one of the other options in here that said someone else is living there. But the paranormal possibilities may put is someone else died in the house or a possessed item.
I like
So
there's a comment down here that says make lemongrass tea. It helps ward off unwanted entities.
oh, I hadn't known it was that easy. I like how the person replied to it too. Done. Smiley face.
Yeah.
Did that fix it? Was that all you needed?
Are we good now?
Just some
Maybe
lemongrass tea.
Maybe
huh?
they built it on top of an ancient Indian burial ground. Fuck, maybe that's it.
I like the comment too that says, "I'm excited that you used the word exsanguinated."
I'm not. Fuck off.
It was a little bit pretentious.
Right?
There's other ways you could have said that, and then immediately following it up with a sentence using agoraphobic.
I know.
But
oh well, it is what it is.
I won't yuck anyone's yum when it comes to writing stories.
Yeah. It is. That's probably the one complaint I have about this story. It was just the blatant like thumbing of the chin at us.
You know what? I can forgive it because I read this story, and though some of the sentences were slightly awkwardly structured, you probably noticed me trip up a little bit on a couple of them, but I will say it didn't have a ton of grammatical and spelling errors.
It's well written. It's very well written.
You know what? I'll let it pass.
Them.
It's fine.
You get like 2 big thumbs up from us for that. Thanks.
One of these.
Yeah, one of these.
But would you continue house sitting at a house that made you feel uncomfortable every time if you needed the money?
If it's paying good, fuck it. I'll do a lot of things for money, Connor. A lot of things.
This leads me down the train of thought too. Would you ever be like a night security guard at a place that was supposedly haunted?
Watson, quit. It's the worst timing ever. Watson, come here. All right. Yeah, 100%. 100% I would. As long as it didn't interfere with my my daytime job. Or if it paid enough for me to quit my daytime job, sure.
What if you constantly had like paranormal experiences or like stuff that was weird that you just couldn't explain?
I mean, it just depends, because on one hand, like, I'm looking for that, and on the other hand, if I find it, I'm not quite sure what I'll do.
You'll scream like a baby.
Yeah, probably. like what kind of paranormal are we talking about here? Are we talking about like little things, or like it's life threatening at this point?
Somewhere in between.
In between, like it starts small and fucking it ramps.
It gets to the point where like doors are slamming, like hard, and like items are like flying in your general direction but not quite hitting you yet. You're okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
How much are they paying me?
How
much are they paying?
30 an hour.
30 an hour? Yeah. All right.
You do? Yeah. All right.
All right. All right. I'm down for that.
All right. That's your
about
price
you?
to deal with paranormal,
you
huh?
cool with that?
No, dude.
You'd be out.
No.
Heard that. Well.
No. I'm okay with, like, if you were like, hey, Connor, do you want to go on a trip to somewhere that's supposedly paranormal and record and stuff. Sure, but only because there's another witness there. If I'm gonna get ganked by some like paranormal entity, I need somebody there to like tell my tale.
All right, all right, all right. What if it was like a duo gig and it was me and you?
Oh, then yeah, definitely.
Okay,
I would
cool.
do it.
Cool.
I'd do it for cheap.
Yeah.
You know.
You're like, I'd do it for free.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna get the job there, and then I'm just gonna be like, hey.
Can I bring a +1?
Right. We don't need to bring cameras. We've got the security cameras.
We're gonna be all Five Nights at Freddy's in there.
It's fine. Be like a one of those found footage films. Be pretty sick, if you're asking me. Would you be cool dying if you knew that there would be found footage of it later? Okay. Say you ran into fucking Bigfoot, right? You got video fucking evidence of Bigfoot. The only caveat is it fucking kills you. But somebody's gonna come around and find that camera and find that evidence, and you're gonna be the first person that discovered Bigfoot. But you're dead.
You know, here's the question though. Like, it's one thing if you go down in the history books, right, as finding this sort of either mythical creature or paranormal creature or whatever, right? But it's another thing entirely if, you're the one who finds it, and then whoever finds that footage that you left behind gets like all the glory. Like, if that's gonna happen, and I'm just like forgotten about the history as like the guy who got jacked.
You couldn't if they know you as the guy who got jacked, you're not being forgotten. You know, you're on the video. It's you.
I would hope that at that point they somehow get the legal okay to play it in theaters.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, it needs to be like a full-on Paranormal Activity but real kind of situation.
What if they try to blur it out?
No, you got to show everything.
You gotta watch all of it.
You got to be traumatized by it. I went through that suffering for you.
All right, I think that's a good place to end it there. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us tonight. If you guys have any stories you'd like to share, you can submit them via our email at scspookycast@gmail.com. That will be linked in the description below. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, and stay up to date on all of our content. We also have merch. Is the SpookyCast merch still up, or did you take that down?
It will be up by the time this video
Alrighty, well, we'll have that back up and going. Other than that, we hope you all have a safe and spooky night, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.